Whoever's out there and needs to hear this, I'm here to tell you it's not all about money, bro. And look, if you guys watch my channel, you would know that I make a lot of videos about money, investing, saving, budgeting, building wealth, and just trying to get ahead financially. And look, I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't care about money because I do. I love money. I love talking about money. I love learning about money. And I just love the game of trying to build financial freedom, especially when you don't have a huge paying job or you're starting from $0. But at the same time, especially now that I'm making over $100,000 a year, I've realized that money is definitely not everything. And I know you've heard this from a lot of different people, but I just want to give my take on it because look, money matters. It matters 100%. And I think anyone who says money does not matter is either lying to you or they've just never really had to worry about finances in the first place. But it's definitely not the whole picture. And I think a lot of us who are really driven to get to these higher salary numbers, we kind of delay the joy of life until we get there, or at least I did. Because I know for me, I used to sit here every day and just pray day in and day out that I would get the chance at making $100,000 a year. And when I started this channel a little over a year ago, I was making $19 an hour. And I remember telling myself, the day I get a job paying $100,000 a year, everything's going to change. I'm going to be happier. Life's going to get better. I might even get a little bit of, taller, might get a little bit more handsome. Who knows, right? And look, I'm super grateful that one opportunity led to another. And now I'm in this position with this salary. So I don't want to downplay that at all because I'm extremely grateful because making more money has changed, my life for the better in a lot of different ways. But there's also a few things I think are, kind of worth going over, especially if you're starting to maybe get down on yourself because you're not where you want to be at financially yet. Because yes, you should try to make more money. Yes, you should try to save as much money as you can. Yes, you should invest your money. You should just overall try to put yourself in a better financial position. That's literally why I talk about this stuff and promote it. But I also think it's important to understand what money can actually do for you and what it cannot do for you. All right, so the first point I want to bring up is money solves problems, but it specifically solves money problems. And I want to say that because I'm going to lead it up with this. Having more income can genuinely make your life easier, right? I feel like I have to say that because whenever people see a video like money isn't everything, they think you're about to act like it doesn't matter, right? It definitely matters. When you're broke, everything feels, a lot heavier than it should with your finances, right? You get paid, and before you even get to enjoy your money, most of it's probably already gone, whether it's to, your rent or your car payment or just insurance or just reoccurring bills, right? And then one random thing happens, like maybe your car needs a new tire or something, or you forgot a certain bill was coming out, and now your whole month is completely screwed up. And that's an extremely stressful way to live, right? Like I wouldn't want to live like that, but I know a lot of people do live like that, unfortunately. And I think it's one of the main reasons I like talking about personal finance, right? It's not because I think your whole life should revolve around a certain dollar amount. It's because I know how much pressure, and stress comes from constantly feeling behind. And when you get in control of your personal finances, life becomes a lot easier, right? There's a huge difference between a $300 car repair being annoying and a $300 car repair ruining the next 2 weeks of, financial freedom you have. That stuff matters. And that's why I think, people saying stuff like money doesn't buy happiness, it's just a little bit more complicated than that because when you're barely getting by, getting your finances together can absolutely make your life better, right? It'll give you that breathing room that you're kind of looking for, and it keeps, small problems, it keeps them small. That's also kind of where I think the line is drawn. It can and it will solve financial problems, but it definitely doesn't solve every problem. And I think a lot of people get confused because when you're struggling or you're broke, it's very easy to think every issue in your life is tied to not having enough money. And honestly, some of them probably are, but definitely not all of them. So yes, absolutely take this stuff seriously, right? Like try to make more, save more, invest more, become financially literate. But you also have to understand what it can fix and what it can't fix because getting ahead financially can make your life more comfortable. But it does not automatically fix the more personal, kind of deeper stuff like, your direction, your habits, your health, your relationships, or what you actually enjoy doing in your day-to-day life. And I think this is where people get let down, right? Because they think once the income goes up, everything else in life is just going to figure itself out. But if those areas were already off, like your direction or your health or your habits, while having a little bit extra money can maybe help, it's not going to magically turn you into a better version of yourself, right? It can remove a lot of the pressure, and that's a big deal, but it's definitely not going to fix those things. Another thing worth mentioning is how money can become an identity trap. And this is something I even have to watch myself with because, as I make videos about money and I talk about saving, investing, income, net worth, getting ahead, all of that, naturally, the more you talk about this stuff like finances, the easier it is to start viewing everything in life through that lens. You start judging your own personal progress by your income or the size of your paycheck, then your portfolio, then your savings rate, then your job title, then how much you have compared to other people your age. And at first, I do think some of that can be actually a little bit motivating, right? It can push you to get more serious or make better financial decisions. But if you're not careful, it can kind of turn into this weird scoreboard where you start attaching your whole value to how well you're doing financially. And I think that's where it becomes a problem because now you're not just telling yourself, I want to make more money. You start telling yourself, I am only doing good in life if I make more money. Or it's not just, I want to build wealth. It becomes, if I'm not ahead of everyone else, then I'm behind. And I think a lot of people in personal finance or investing or business fall into this. Everything becomes about maximizing. You want to maximize your income and maximize your savings rate and then maximize your investments. And again, I get it. I like all that stuff too. I like improving. I like seeing progress. I like feeling like I'm building towards something meaningful. But at some point, you have to ask yourself, am I using this money to build a better life for myself and my family? Or am I slowly building my entire life around the concept of money? Because those are two different things. And I think this is especially easy when you start making more money because now you feel like you have to keep proving that you are that person. You have to keep earning more and saving more and investing more because if you slow down, it's going to feel like you're falling behind. And the truth is, your income is not your whole identity. Your net worth is not who you are. Your job title is not who you are. While those things matter, they are not the full picture of who you are as a person. You can be doing really well financially and still be completely miserable if the only thing you care about is the next number or paycheck or raise. You can have a great salary and still feel behind. And I'm not saying to stop having goals. I still have plenty of financial goals. I still want to make more and I still want to keep investing and I want to build, a huge financial foundation. But I think you need to make sure money is supporting your life and not replacing it. So you should 100% use money as a tool, right? Use it to create freedom you want and security you want and just give yourself options. Just don't make it the only thing that tells you whether you're actually doing good or not in life. So, with all that being said, what actually makes life good? And I guess that question's for you to answer. We're all different. There's things that are going to make me happy that wouldn't make you happy, and vice versa. But once you get past trying to survive financially, you start realizing there are other things that matter. And this mostly revolves around your health, your relationships, your faith, your family, your routine, your overall peace, and just whether you actually enjoy your normal day to day life. And I think it's very easy to ignore these things when you're really focused on getting ahead financially. You can get so locked in on making more money and saving more money and investing more money and hitting that next milestone that you don't even realize your life is becoming something you don't really enjoy. And I'm not saying that like I have it all figured out. There's still things I'm learning on a day-to-day basis about what makes me happy and what doesn't. But I do think there is a difference between doing well on paper and actually enjoying the life you're living. Because you can have a great salary and still hate your schedule, or you can have a growing portfolio and still feel extremely lonely. So for me, the next question becomes, what am I actually building toward? Because I don't want to make money just to make more money. I want my money to give me more freedom, more options, less stress, and the ability to help people who are struggling. And honestly, I just want a life that feels good on a normal Tuesday afternoon, not only when I hit some big milestone or something worth celebrating. And I think that's why those areas matter so much. So yes, absolutely take your finances seriously, but do not only build that one area of your life while everything else is slowly starting to fall apart or stall out. So at this point in the video, if I haven't explained it well enough yet, I just think at the end of the day, it's all about having a good amount of balance. And I know that sounds extremely basic, but I do really believe that's the answer. I'm not saying in this video at all to stop caring about money, to stop trying to make more money, to stop saving or investing. I still believe in all of that. I'll still continue to do that, and I'll still continue to make videos on that. I just think the goal is to care about money without you letting it become the only thing your life revolves around, because there's nothing wrong with wanting a higher income and wanting a bigger portfolio and just building towards financial freedom. I think those are amazing goals. But if you hit those goals and you are unhealthy, or you're lonely or stressed out or in bad relationships, or you just hate every single day of your life, then you kind of have to ask yourself, what am I even building towards? Like, why am I even trying to become financially successful if all of these things in my life, frankly, suck? And I think that's where balance comes in. Absolutely make the money, save the money, invest the money, take your finances seriously, but also take care of your health and your relationships and your faith and just your peace, because you don't want to become so focused on becoming financially successful that you're actually forgetting to enjoy and live your life now. And again, I'm saying that for myself too. I still want to make more money. I still want to keep building. I still have financial goals I want to hit, but at the same time, I'm trying to get better at not putting my whole life on pause until I hit that next financial number, because the number's always going to move, right? At first, it was wanting to make 50,000, then it was 70,000, then it was 100,000, then it's a certain net worth, then it's a certain size portfolio, and then it's always going to be something else. And if you're not careful, you can spend your whole life chasing that next thing and never actually enjoy where you're at today. And I think that's kind of the whole point of this video. Money matters. I still love talking about it, but it's definitely not everything. At the end of the day, money is and will always be a tool. And the goal of that tool is to use it to build a life that actually feels worth living and you actually enjoy. So once again, money is not everything, bro. And again, I know that might sound weird coming from someone who literally makes every single video about finances. I talk about this stuff because I do think it matters and I like talking about it and I like learning about it. But I also do not want people to think that once they hit a certain income, everything is just going to feel magically perfect. Because from my experience, making more will help, but it definitely does not automatically fix everything. Your habits, your health, your relationships, all of that matters a lot more than how much money is actually sitting in your bank account. So yes, make more money, save it, invest it, put yourself in a better position, but don't make that mistake of thinking your whole life will start once you hit that next goal. So thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know if you've struggled kind of with the same mindset in the past before and how you've gone out of it. Other than that, I appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.